just going to wait for more people to come in. Ah, let me see. Keep it going. Keep it going. Seems like my hands don't want to hit that. See what they're doing. Let's run that again. Run it again. Take it from the top. All right. I'm waiting for more people to get into the room. Like, subscribe, and share if you've come to this channel. The topic of today, I need to write the topics down, is what is the meaning of practice? I was going over a song, Arioso by Bach, and I was going over a particular part, let me see if I can remember it. I was going over a particular part, and I'll get to that part. Let me see if I can find it in the music. Let me see. There it is. Right there. So I was going over that particular part right there. And if you can look at the fingering on that, I was just going over. And there was a commenter that said, I'm sorry, but that is not practice. And I want to stop right there. I want to stop right there. Whenever you come to your instrument, skill, or trade, even if you're in sports, say if there was a ball player that wasn't good at shooting free throws, what is the coach going to have him come there to do? He's just going to come there. He's going to practice doing shooting his free throws. If you're a singer and you know that you need to work on your vibratos, you're going to work on your vibratos. So you actually define, when you sit down at your instruments, you're going to define what your practice is. It's not up to someone to say, hey, that's not practice. It's not up to someone to say that. You define what your practice is. The proper answer should have been, well, what are you practicing? What are you practicing? Should have been exactly, hey, what are you practicing going on right there? So if you look at that piece, and here's the thing, I've played that part before. So I landed it right there. So just by me landing that right there, that is what I intended that to be. That's exactly what I wanted it to be. I have a student, and as we're playing he can't get this part down. He can't get that part down. So do you know what I asked him to do? I said, hey, when you sit down and practice, I don't even want you to, I don't want you to do that. I said, I don't want you to do that. All I want you to do is literally come here. That is exactly what I wanted him to do. I told him, hey, that's all I would like you to do. I said, you don't have to play the whole song. I don't even want you to go over your, all I want you to do when you sit down here, that's all I want you to do. I want you to get ingrained in that. And when I come and sit down with you next week, that's all I want you to play. I want you to come in as soon as I sit down. As soon as you can get that part 100% correct, I told him, as soon as you get that part 100% correct, then we can proceed on. As soon as you can come in and I'm sorry. Anyway, and I told him as soon as you get that part correct in the song, I said we can proceed to learning the correct piece because that's where you're getting stuck at. And I told him I want it smoothly. I want it smoothly. So just like this piece, that was my main thing. I said when I sit down, so every time I sat down, now we can finish the rest of the song. But when I sat down, I defined what practice was. I sat out and determined that definition of what it meant to practice. Do I need to go over a certain scale starting over at C? No, no, I don't need to do that. Do I need to work on? I don't need to work on arpeggios. If my goal within that, if my goal within that session was literally just to work on that, just like I told my music teacher, that is exactly what practice is. Who we got? We got. I can't pronounce it, but how you doing, boy? But if that's what if that is what it means, that's what practice is. So when we talk about practice, you actually sit down and you define what you're going to practice on that day. I may sit down and say, hey, I need to get stronger in the key of F. You know, you got your F major, you know, you got your F minor, you know, you got your F diminished, you know, it depends on what you exactly want to work out or what you want to work on. Jay, in one word, what would you want people to describe your legacy? Um, in one word, what would I want people to describe my legacy? Giving. There's that word right there. So when I sit down and I start playing, now there's times where I sit down and actually play. I'm not gonna play that song. And here's the thing: I never want to get into the habit of now. Even though we should have a repertoire, I never want to get into the habit of sitting down. I never want to get into the habit of, even though we should have a repertoire, I never want to get into the habit of sitting down and just giving the audience the same thing over and over again. To me, I'm going to say to me, that's the definition of insanity right there. So it depends. Like one person said, hey, you need to work on your timing. I sat down with the metronome. I need to speed that up. So I was using that as an example right there. When you sit down, you define, okay, you might just want to sit down and work on your timing, not necessarily your playing. And I know you're going to say, well, how can you work on one without the other? You could work on certain segments of a piece. You could work on some piece that you've played before. Um, Always constantly with the metronome, just to get your timing down packed. Or you might want to sit down and solely just work on repetition. Work on your repertoire. Interesting answer. That's something I will ponder over for sure. You don't know me and I don't know you, but trust me, that answer left a mark on my perspective of how I observe the world. God bless. Hey, 7849, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Um, so when we talk about practice again, what does your practice look like? What does your practice look like? Dan Meteor, how you doing? Um, I was going we're talking about the topic of hand of when I was practicing a particular part in this arioso, this Bach arioso from Cantata. And a commenter said that's not practice because I was going over a particular part. And that particular part was so I kept going over the and the commenter said, he said, well, that's not practice. And I thanked them because everybody has their opinion and everybody has their perspective. And that's the reason for this live. I say, hey, well, what does practice look like for you? What does practice look like for you? I might feel like I might sit down and I may sit down and work on different aspects or different facets of practice. For me that day, it was going over. It was literally me going over. Now, timing is off right there. Another person say, "Hey, work on timing." Let me see. I'm sorry. See, now my timing is off right there. But I'm only using that as an example. So when you sit down at your keys, it's not that you can't play, it's not that you can't practice, but what exactly are you practicing? What's the goal of your practice? What's the objective of your practice? I'm working on my reading getting better. So there are times where I may literally days on end put something brand new in front of my face just to read. And I guarantee you it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. However, my sight reading is getting better. And there may be some days where I'm actually working on timing. I may work on playing, I may work on sight reading. There's so many different facets of practice. So when somebody says, hey, that's not practice to them. They're defining your practice when you are the only one that can actually sit down and define your practice. You're actually the only one that does that. You might decide to work on playing songs in different keys. I noticed, for example, this song called Fire and Rain. And bear with me, I haven't got this song under my fingertips just yet. I haven't got this song under my fingertips just yet. That's the just yesterday morning they let me know you were gone. Susan, the song, the plans they made, put it into you. Anyway, I don't know why I was thinking about James Taylor. I don't know why I was thinking about James Taylor, but phenomenal artist, phenomenal musician, and I've always listened to many different genres of music, many different genres. And when it for some reason Fire and Rain came past my mind, I said, let me start diving into this song. And when I started coming past the song, this may be practice right there when you sit down and so I'm sorry, let's go take it a little bit lower. I'm trying to get that because he's playing it a little bit differently. And here's the weird thing, when he's playing that on the guitar, it doesn't even sound like that. It doesn't even sound like that. The tempo is different, the beat is different. But I might literally, when we're talking about practice, I might literally be, that's all you may hear me go over is the so almost an arpeggio. And I might try to get that tempo under my wings. Here's the thing about this song. The easiest part of the song is just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Susan, the plans they made, put an end to you. Okay, that's a strength right there. This is also a strength. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because that's my ears taking over. That's my ears taking over. So a lot of times when we sit down, we want to do what's comfortable. Reading, quite frankly, isn't at a comfortable level for me. But that's what my practice needs to, and I'm going to use the word need. That's what my practice actually needs to look like. And even if I got to take it slow, my ears just want to automatically go on autopilot. See, and here's the thing. He plays that whole part differently. And when I sat out and I listened to the recording, and this is where my struggle is. When I sat down and I listened to the recording, I was like, that's not what he's doing. That's not what he's doing. When I pulled the sheet music up from Music Notes, hopefully one day they'll sponsor me. When I pulled the sheet music up from Music Notes, it actually did play what he was playing. I was like, okay, so that's it right there. This part right here, when we start that walk down with the And I noticed that he's holding that sustain. He's holding that sustain. And then we're gonna come back with the so we're going with the I thought we were dropping to a flat. And we're gonna walk it up to the. So I thought, okay, I got it now. See, now I'm trying to. So I was gonna go with the hold it. Boom. So we're actually playing that wrong. Hold it. Hold it. So I can kind of hear it right there. I can kind of hear it right there. But back to the topic at hand. Back to the topic at hand. You define what your practice is going to look like. You know, one day I might just start off with from the key of C. You know, I might. Whoa. I might decide to go through my scales. I might go through arpeggios, go through different things. You define what your practice is going to look like. You know where your weaknesses are. If I was your piano teacher, like I told my student, you know, you define what your practice looks like. I may sit down and tell you, hey, just play me something on the keys. I might approach your practice from an experimentation level. Hey, just sit down and play. Just sit down and play me. And I don't care what you play me. I'm just literally gonna sit there and just watch you play. Because what I'm looking at is I'm trying to figure out, okay, what type of ear do you have? I'm looking at how you're touching the keys. You know, we might just work on playing some soft music. You know, I don't know how to do runs yet. Gospel runs. You know, I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm quite sure that if I need to build up my speed and dexterity, I would be working on that because I'm defining that goal for practice. So keep this in mind, guys. I said I was going to do this for about 30 minutes. Every time you sit down at your keys or your instrument, sometime close the door. You know, you guys see I got a door closed in the background. I'm sitting down and I'm defining exactly what I want to work on. A lot of times when you guys see me here, let's get that on, let's do the tempo. Slow it down. I want to take it down to 86. Let me see. drum beat. Ah. Okay. I may sit down and work on my timing. I may sit down and work on my reading. Lots of things, like the title or the description says, there are many facets to practice. There are many sides to practice, many sides. You determine what you want to work on. And keep this in mind. If I sat down and really worked on my music from beginning to end, if I decide to go on it from beginning to end, it would be probably be we're looking at probably about 3 hours, 3 hour minimum, 3 hour minimum every single day. And we haven't even touched on getting your sights better. We're just talking about technique, routine, um, just building the structural foundation for you sitting down and playing. We haven't even talked about any type of creator aspect of your playing. It sounded kind of weird. Let's see if we get chords that sound nice. So there are many facets of playing. You might want to just sit down and stare at your keyboard, wait for some inspiration to hit you. So you guys decide what your practice is going to look like. You guys decide that. If you need help, hey, what should a basic routine look like? A basic routine, you know, a basic routine will look, like you're going through your scales, your inversions, and we're taking each key differently, major, minor, what have you. And then my goal for you guys is to get you to play, get you to actually start playing, get you to actually start playing. So the goal is within practice is to build a structural foundation that's going to exactly lead you to guys to actually playing. All of that right there, that was from Dancing in the Moonlight. All that right there is part of what you have been learning in your practice. Starting off with he has the arpeggiating going on. Black chord. Sorry. So my goal is to get you to play. My goal is to get you to play. My goal is also to get you to explore music outside of what you normally listen to. Outside, this is all within practice. All within practice. So when we talk about what is practice, this is practice. I'm going to sit down, find out what your goal is. Your goal is to get you to play. Why do you want to play? Do you want to play to feel good? Do you want to play for the church? Blah, 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 blah. If you want to start playing for the church, I'm probably not the one right now for you. How does one cope with his limits in inferiority? Camille Chan, how you doing? How does one cope with limits in inferiority? I'm going to tell you exactly how that happens. It's like when someone saw me practicing and they said, "Hey, that's not practice." All of a sudden, either I can choose to feel limited at that, I can choose to feel inferior at that. I can choose to feel like I'm not good enough. Yet, here I am. My non-practicing A double Frank blah blah is sitting here still back at it. I'm still here saying, no, I'm gonna learn how I'm still gonna learn how to sit down and I'm still gonna sit down and learn this thing. And here's an important part. The reason that I keep coming back, my nine playing behind, is because number one, I tell people I'm not a pianist. I'm not a piano player. I'm just somebody that really, really enjoys music. I really enjoy some James Taylor, and we're gonna talk about this song. We're gonna talk about this song anyway. But here's the thing: this is how you manage that, Camille. Because I don't play for anybody. I'm not playing for the I'm not playing for YouTube. I'm not playing to impress people. I'm not playing. People say my dad would say you should sit down and I don't even play for a church because he was like you need to sit down and play for a church. I'm like nah because I do this for me. Like the feeling that you're so small compared to what's out there, and like no matter how hard you try, there's a big chance you'll never get to the top. Woo! Like the feeling that you're so small compared to what's out there. Here's the thing, Camille. There's a lot out there. There's a lot out there. And as far as getting to the top, there's a joke that me and my wife have that I'm famous inside here, not to the world. Not to the world. I'm famous. I'm famous to me. I'm famous to me. I'm famous to me. Let others sing your praise. I mean, you guys saw me just go through some risks, blah, 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 blah. And here's the thing. Well, I didn't know you could play like that. Because I frankly don't play like that. I'm not online playing. It's like I tell people, I said, my goal isn't to entertain. My goal isn't to entertain. My goal is to teach. My goal is to inspire. My goal is to introduce you to some new music, and I'm quite sure you guys will introduce me to some new things as well. My goal is to be respected also amongst my peers. So I have some guys here saying, "Hey, when I was going through that Georgia," he said my timing was off. I didn't take offense to it. I actually went in and I went to a guitar center that day and I worked on my timing. Now, I worked on my timing that day. And I put a video out there with me working with the metronome because I want to and when I saw what he posted in the comments, he was like, that made me smile. Most people would have got offended. That means that and I'm quite sure the person that left that is a much greater musician than I, but all of a sudden I've become a peer. I've become a peer, that I want to learn from another peer, peer to peer counseling, peer to peer helping. Now, had I taken offense at that, all of a sudden, well, who you think you is trying to tell me about? I know I'm not the greatest. I know I'm not the best. They had a kid up in. He was going through that, but he was going through it in such a professional way. He was playing everything. Camille, I'm going to tell you this. Jamie, I'm going to tell you this. There's going to be something that you have that others don't. Sorry. Where was I going with it? Wait. Anyway, there's going to be something that you have. Can't even get it off. There's going to be something that you have that others don't have. There's going to be a lot of people that have what you have and better. That's just something we got to live with. There's always going to be a bigger, there's always going to be a better, a badder. But it's up to you to find out, okay, if I couldn't hit them, all the way with the classical, let me go to a place that I noticed that he couldn't go to yet. Let me hit you with that improv. Let me hit you with that improv. Let me hit you with a little bit of 251 at the end. Thanks, Jamie Foxx. I got that from him. I'm 18 and I'm from India. All my friends are so ahead of me. And I'm here on my second attempt of a college preparation. And honestly, even that isn't going that good. It's hard to keep going. Camille, when you say college preparation, are you talking music wise or just in general? It's a college entrance test. Okay, college entrance test. And you said you've been studying pretty hard for it. College entrance exam. It's not in music, honestly. I just stumbled upon your stream. Okay. Well, I do have a background in psychology. So here we go. So is entrance in it's just a basic entrance into college. I'm gonna tell you something about me. I don't know how they have it in India, but do they have do you know what a GED is? Ooh, I found something. There we go, right there. I like that. Tell you something about me. So I was born a twin. Was one of the sickest twins. So sick that mother didn't want me. And so with me being sick, I was premature. 47 years old now. I was born premature. Um, I was the last to do everything. I was the last to do everything. And I can't use this. I don't know if this is a correct word right now, but they thought I was mentally slow. Fast forward, here we go. Ended up being one of the most intelligent children that my parents had. They took me out of high school because I was trying to be about that gang life. You know, I was trying to be about that gang life back then. We had the Bone Thugs and Harmony coming out. We had gangster rap coming out. We had all those things. So they took me out of high school. My grades were plummeting. Like they said, this kid is going to be a super senior. Took me out of school with no study involved. Put a GED book in my hand. Did so well in that test that they offered me a scholarship to Prairie State College. And from then on, I started working. Um, very, very hard worker. This music thing right here is that was actually one of the first songs I've attempted to learn at Prairie State College because I just like playing. And this goes all the way back to 1997. 1997. And if you would have seen what people define me as, if you would have saw people, how people define me, like, he's going to end up like this, he's going to end up like that. I did not let that define who I am. I didn't let that define who I am. Right now, I run a very well business. You know, I've dived into the financial industry, working for Ford Motor Credit as a finance manager for many years. Um, Went to school, business administration, DeVry, going to Liberty University with not a degree, but I was pursuing a degree in counseling, Christian counseling and theology. Um, and then all of a sudden I got my CDL because I was like, by the time I come out with a master's, I'm only gonna be making $13 an hour. But one thing that I had was I didn't let others define me. I didn't let others define me. I like going to the gym and I like working out. I'm athletic that way, very, very outgoing. But as if you ask me to shoot a free throw, a dunk, it's Air Jordan, missing the whole net. I still don't let that define me because I'm famous upside in here to me. My gift is, guess what? Like I told my wife, I say I may not be a multimillionaire, I may not be this, I may not be that, but you best believe, I'm going to. You can best believe that I will outwork you. I'm like that little runt, that little. When I had a dog that passed away. I had a little dog that passed away, and this dog was the runt of the litter. But when I say this dog had 9 lives, a mini schnauzer, this dog is by far to date the toughest dog that I had. She ain't let the pit bull define her. She didn't let the two strokes define her. This dog kept going. And they say dogs are like their owner. So be famous up here. If you're from a really good college, you can pretty much assume your life is going to be great in every aspect. Well, here's the thing. I didn't complete the college. I did not complete college. My wife, she's a doctor to what she does. Everybody around me my dad has written books. I'm the only one that didn't complete college. But I was the first person by the time I met my father at his age in life, meaning that when by the time I got to where he was at his life, if this makes any sense, I had already tripled his yearly salary and what I was making. And it didn't come from college. It came from me owning and operating a business. It came from my life's experiences right now. And I'm going to say, you know, here I believe in God and his name is Jesus. I tell everybody that if for some reason Jesus loved me more than everybody else, there's a run of the mill joke right there. There's a run of the mill joke right there. So I work really hard. If I can't get you here, I'm going to outwork you there, and I'm still going to end up winning. You know, that's how I approach music. I may not be great yet on the keys, but I'm going to be persistent. You guys saw how that went together? Took two different songs. I wasn't even thinking about playing that. Anyway, you define your practice, guys. This is gonna end this live share. Live. This is gonna end this YouTube live. I'm getting tongue tied. But you define your practice. Camille, you define who you are. You define who you are. Blessings upon you with your college entrance exam. Blessings upon you. You define who you are. Um, my story tells it all. It's like I'm pretty blessed. I'm pretty blessed from what my biological mother thought of me. I'm pretty blessed. And here's the thing, I'm just like her. Same intelligence level, same this, same that. And there came a time in her life where she apologized and said, hey, I'm sorry. When you guys see me gracing these keys, you know, that should have been my brother. That should have been my brother. He's very gifted. If he ever watches this, keep playing, keep playing, keep shedding, keep practicing. And remember, guys, you define what it looks like to you. As long as when you sit down and you feel like and you understand, like, hey, as long as you feel like you've got there, and matter of fact, you got to know you've got there. I put it like that. As long as that's something that you know, every time you sit down, by the time you get up, like I'm gonna get up from this live, I feel like I've made an impact, and I feel like I can take away something, and I'm just gonna apply that into my next playing. Peace.